Hi, how are you? So good to see you, whether you're watching live now or catching the replay. Today we're going to talk about trust issues. Wow, this is near and dear to my heart because I didn't trust anybody ever for a really long time. And the only person I thought I could really count on was me, and I had some serious trust issues. I mean, underneath, I wanted to be able to really connect with people and have them get to know me, but I just found that, I was always afraid that if I really trusted somebody, number one, I was going to get totally let down, disappointed. They were going to, do me wrong. And what I call one of the 3 Ds, right? Like ditch me, dupe me, or dick me over. And I really believed that. So I just kind of wanted to keep people here, tell them a little bit about me, but not too much. Heaven forbid they'd use my vulnerability against me. And that's really the attitude want to allow people. And I don't know if you're the same. More. If you find that you're in a situation you want to be close to people and you want to be connected, but one of your major issues preventing you from doing that is learning how to really trust somebody. So if that's you, you're definitely in the right place. Doing that is learning how to really trust somebody. So if that's you, you're definitely in the right place. I love her, and I'm excited to get started. So let's talk about how this comes about. First of all, how do you get in a situation where you don't trust anybody? Usually what happens is it came about from something really legit in your life. It's not like you're born trusting, okay? It's in your, so we're gonna talk about, is this nature or nurture? Is it in your nature not to trust people? Is that just how you are and the way you are? Or is it part of your nurturing in your background? I'm gonna tell you right now what I really believe right off the rip, so you know how I roll. It's actually in your nature to trust. It's in your nature to trust. Your nurturing has created, like once upon a time, it's once upon a lie. Your nurturing has created a situation for you where you're like, oh, that's not how that works. I thought you're supposed to trust, but I guess not. And let me tell you why I know that you're born to trust and why it's part of your absolute nature to do that is because that's how you come into the world. Wayne Dyer used to tell this story, and I love it so much. Of course, I've taken some liberties, but the last time that you trusted something fully and wholly and totally was actually when you were in the womb. Why? Because your ego wasn't involved. You couldn't tell stories. You couldn't make stuff up. So when you were in the womb, you were in there like cozy and whatever, and you weren't freaking out. You weren't like, oh my God, is that what is that growing between my legs? It looks like I can't quite make it out yet. What am I going to do? And you weren't freaking out about your eyelashes or your limbs sprouting out. You knew that in divine timing, everything was kind of happening. And that's the last time you really just took your hands off the wheel, literally, and just allowed things and trusted that it was going to happen. It's in your nature. It's in your birthright to do that. You're born into the world trusting. Just like if I could have evidence of needing to trust, I would go out in nature and see that evidence everywhere that I would look. An acorn goes into the ground. It doesn't freak out and wonder if it's going to become an oak tree. Right? It just trusts the process, that everything is available to it that it needs. Everything it needs, it already has within it to become. And so it doesn't like look and go, the flowers that get planted in the spring, they don't sit around and go, we'll see what the sun does, bastard. If he feels like shining today. It doesn't worry. It's not like rain. Well, rain's for you, but it's not for me. It doesn't put all these rules on it. It knows the rain comes for everybody equally. It trusts the rain. It trusts the sun. It trusts the weather. It trusts the universe to do what it needs to do in order to produce. And you're born that way too. How cool is that? If you can literally learn to get back to your true nature and do away with some of the nurture. And that's what I help people do, is I help them undo their nurturing so that they can get back to their truest essence, their rightful place of trusting and really knowing their real value, and ditch the stories, right? So likely that's what happened to you. Once upon a time, you put your hope in a human being. This is how did you get here? Well, you put your hope in a human being and you said, you know what, I'm going to put, I love this person. This person's here to protect me, to nurture me, to care for me. And likely you got sorely mistaken and disappointed by that person. Maybe you're in a situation where you grew up where somebody abandoned you, somebody mistreated you that was supposed to love you, or later on in life you got into a marriage and a relationship with somebody and you thought that this person was destined for you, but lo and behold, they abandoned you or rejected you or cheated on you. And then in that moment of whatever that thing was that happened to you, you made a snap decision about the world in a highly emotional state, right? You know, my husband's the state guy. He teaches you strategic state mastery, but I'm not that woman, but I will tell you, and he could help you dive deeper. For me, I know that when that radical thing happened to you, it was such an emotional charge that you made a very clear decision about people. Like you went, that's it, men are unreliable, or women are cheaters, or women are destructive or backstabbers, or people are only out for themselves, or a-holes, or whatever it is that you decided in that moment. Life is pain. Life is hard. Everything's a struggle. And then you made that decision out of that one instance, of that one jerk off, or that one situation, that person who let you down, and then you were like, that's how life works. And then you went around through life armed with that belief system. So I want you to first today, when you're listening to me, start to think to yourself, what is it that I really believe? What do I really believe? And not the nice thing that's like cute to say, oh, I believe that life is a journey. Do you believe that? Great. But do you really believe it's pain or a struggle or hard, or the struggle's real? It's not real. None of it's real. It's all just stories we tell ourselves. So start to examine, what is your belief system? When I say men are, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? I heard that. I heard what you told me through the computer, and it wasn't nice, okay? Women are. Whoa, heard that, okay? Life is, what comes to mind? People are, what comes to mind? And you'll start to notice that some of these beliefs are pretty destructive to you. So, but that's neither here nor there, okay? The belief is what it is for now. You go through life with that belief, and then you start behaving a certain way based upon that belief. Can you see that? It's kind of fuzzy. There's a belief and a behavior. It's called the Insana cycle. I named it the Insana cycle. It's like getting on a bike in your spin class and then going, why aren't we there yet? Expecting it to go somewhere. The definition of insanity, right? But this is what we do. We get armed with our belief, and then we go about behaviors. Now, I've come up with these different personality patterns that I've coined because, you know, like where a therapist will deal in pathology, a life coach, really, me, I deal in patterns. And so I'm not interested in, you know, your sickness. I'm interested in how you've been running, and is that effective for you? And can we get rid of some of your deprogram you in a way where you can be really more of who you are instead of who you've needed to be. But this is a case of being who you've needed to be. You get one of the 3 Ds, ditched, duped, or dicked over, and then you go, haha, that's how people are, and then you adapt a personality. And one of the personalities that we adapt is withholding Wendy. I was withholding Wendy in my relationships, and do you know what I withheld? And I still have to be careful because these personalities kind of like stay with you, and you have to get like be awareness, right? I have to notice when I'm withholding from myself, from other people, and I have to tell you, even when I was with my husband, the most gorgeous, loving, kind rock star on the planet. And let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you how I did all these behaviors with him. He's going to love this, but withholding is one of those things where actually you want to tell somebody how you feel about them. You know, you want to say, "Oh, I love you. Wow, you're everything to me. I'm so grateful for you," and you don't want to say it, and you withhold it because you're so concerned that if you actually expose the truth of how you feel about somebody, that somehow they're going to use it against you, or it's going to hurt more when they leave you. And so you just keep it in because you don't want to, heaven forbid, they know how much you care and then they leave you and then you're screwed, right? Withholding Wendy withholds her feelings. She doesn't want to tell people what's really going on with her. She withholds her affection. She'll withhold sex. She'll withhold anything in order to either A, get people to do what she needs them to do to make sure that she can trust them. And once I can trust you, then I'll give you more. Okay, or she withholds because she's afraid that what somebody's going to do with it, and she just rejects her own thoughts and feelings and just puts everything on lockdown. And so there is nothing, you know, she doesn't share anything at all because she doesn't trust anybody with any information at all. So you're withholding for a motive, or you're withholding because that's just your survival skill. But withholding, what does that lead to? You know, it's like you want to punish somebody. You know, if somebody, the last person in your life did you wrong, and so it's like you want to make sure that this person can scale your walls in order to win your heart. Well, honey, the only people that want to scale walls are people with a worthiness issue. Like if a woman says to a man when they meet, and she's all like, you know, I have trust issues. I mean, I've got walls. I mean, it's going to take you some time to, like, you know, crack me open. And the man that goes, dun, 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 that's me, is sicker than you, because he has a self-esteem issue that he needs to prove his value by scaling your walls. He's not fucking Spider-Man. He doesn't need to scale your walls. You need to learn how to remove the bricks that you built to keep love out, to keep pain out, because it keeps love out too. Your job is to tear down the bricks, not find Spider-Man. Huh? Okay. All right. So withholding Wendy. Withholds, makes people, you know, she's behind the tower. You know, she's waiting for the prince to come and rescue her, and she's going to withhold, and then she's going to make him prove himself to get up. So you get that role, right? All right, let's move on. Maybe you're not a withholding Wendy. Maybe you're a testing Tessa. And when you don't trust, instead of withholding, you just push people's buttons and wait to see when the show's going to start. You're just like, I'm going to see some fireworks today, buddy. Let me push that button. Let me stroke that one. Let me see what happens here. Let me see how pissed I can get you, because I know that if I just hit the right button, you're going to disappoint me, you're going to cheat on me, or you're going to leave me. Let's get this party started, right? You'll set people up. You'll put them in a weird situation where you just wait for the show. Listen, I did this when I first met my husband. I tested him and we would like poke him and tell him like my horror stories, hoping that would see, was that going to send him running? Let me tell him this thing about me, and let me tell him that thing about me. What I didn't realize was me being vulnerable and sharing with him my true self was really what magnetized us closer together. But I still, in my mind, I thought, well, how much can I share with him before he goes, you're like a weirdo, basket case, what the fuck, you know? But that never happened, thank God. And he's just, you know, our crazies kind of matched up in this perfect little crazy world, right? But I was willing to be vulnerable enough, and I didn't test him in the way that I tested the other men I was with. The other men I was with, I would do something like call up a woman and make her call him and ask him if he's single and ask him out and wait for him to go on a date. I would, like, my girlfriend and I used to literally like stalk people, like do stakeout missions. I mean, I don't know what we were thinking, like Charlie's Angels and shit. We would get wigs and like stalk. I'm telling you the truth. We would go out and like wait for people to like screw up and cheat on us. And what do you think we found? You know, so testing Tessa likes to push buttons and wait to see what's going to happen. Withholding Wendy just doesn't want to speak her truth or say how she really feels, because you're going to use it against her. And then on the other side of the spectrum, it's like keep people at arm's distance with these two personalities. Then we have testing Tessa, withholding Wendy. Now we have clingy Claire. And clingy Claire will put her trust into anybody or anything because she has trust issues. She is a ride or die. She'll put her trust and be loyal to people that don't belong, that she should not be loyal to. And she'll just put everything she has into somebody. I don't know what it is, but I just met you, and I just really feel like I can totally be safe in myself with you. So here's my bank account, and why don't you move into my apartment, because we should really just be together. I mean, that kind of like, not like boiled rabbits kind of clingy Claire, but push a button, she could be a step away from it, right? Because what happens is when I do these behaviors, because I don't trust people, because men are, or women are, or life is, or whatever it is, I do that behavior. You can't really read that. But what happens? Then I catch some feelings about my behavior. What happens when I'm withholding Wendy all the time? Well, I know for me, I was really lonely. And you know what else? A lot of anxiety is created when you're constantly looking up, waiting for the shoe to drop. A lot of anxiety is created when you're just waiting for people to disappoint you and waiting for people to do you wrong, right? I was depressed. I felt completely alone, very lonely, you know, just isolated, just felt rejected because that behavior clearly didn't work. And then when those behaviors and those feelings caught up with me, then I would move immediately into the coping mechanism. And for me, the coping mechanism was to run, hide. For some of us, it's shopping. Some of it's just drinking. Some of us, it's cheating before they can cheat. You know, whatever it is, it's like then you go into self-destruct mode because you're on this trajectory that started out from this lie. But when you engage in that behavior of like shopping or running or doing whatever it is you're doing, then people do leave. Then you do realize you are all alone because you are acting like a cuckoo bird and nobody really wants to be around that. So it's kind of like you create your own destiny. You fulfill your own fate. You are the captain of your own ship and you are driving into the eye of the hurricane. But you're saying it's because, no, Heidi, that's not what I'm doing. I really can't trust people. Men really do disappoint me. It is other people. It is other people letting me down all the time. It's not me. The only person I can count on is me, Heidi. I trust, but I trust me and only me. Well, honey, let me tell you something you shouldn't. Not until we do some work. Why shouldn't you trust yourself the way you've been trusting yourself? Because you're the person that's picking people who are duping, ditching, and dicking you over. That's why. Okay? It's not them who's doing that to you. It's you who's doing that to you. And I love you and I'm telling you the truth. So while you're pretending that you can't trust everybody else, it's you that you really don't trust. Okay? Now let me help you break this down a little bit more. All right? Why did you get to the point where you can't even trust yourself to pick the right people? Because of your programming early on. The faith you put into somebody who did that number on you, one of those 3 Ds, was somebody like outside looking in, you should have been able to trust. It was your mother. And you should have been able to trust your mother to protect you, to provide for you, to nurture for you, but she hurt you instead. Maybe she was a narcissist. Maybe she was mean to you. I don't know. But you said, well, okay, well, she did that to me, then anybody else will do that to me too, right? If my own mother did that to me, or you put your faith in a husband. And you said, okay, and you didn't have a husband. You had, a Tom. And a Tom was a real jerk off, but you said, no, I don't have a Tom, I have a husband. And you had this wild expectation around the role you put people to play in your life. And when they didn't play the role you put them in, you said, I can't trust people. You can trust people. You can trust people to be exactly who they are. The problem is you pick the wrong people. Okay? Why? Because you don't really understand underneath all of that your truest value, your real worthiness. You got your wires crossed. You just got your wires crossed. You believed a lie. You got sold a story. You bought into the story, and now you're reliving the story over and over and over again. You will not attract anything different. You will not attract a man that is outstanding. You will not attract a career that you love, a mission and purpose, until you become your mission and purpose, until you become your number one project. I am not going to teach you how to trust a man. I'm not going to teach you how to trust. You shouldn't have trusted that person you trusted, or you should have trusted them to be exactly who they are. You shouldn't have trusted them to be a husband. You should have trusted them to be a Rick. I know that I trust my husband implicitly. All right. I trust my husband implicitly, not to be a husband, but to be a Doug. And what is a Doug? A Doug is a man with integrity that walks through fire for what he believes in, that does not go against what he believes in, that has morals and values. I looked at the person as a whole, and I know that you could think, oh, Heidi, well, I thought I looked at that person as a whole too, and they surprised me. There are no surprises, honey. There are blinders, but there are no surprises. It's a surprise party. Hey, we've been here all along. Okay, so that's the reality. And when I started to love myself more, I got in touch with my own moral compass, my own integrity, my own real value, and then I attracted my mirror. And when I trusted myself more, then the people in my life that I could trust were my mirror. And they were reflecting back to me the level I trusted myself. I don't expect you to start with other people. I never expect you to start with other people. That's why I call everything that I do, love yourself first. You have to start here. But people don't want to do that. They go, oh, no, fix him. Shit, no, can't you just fix my mom? It'd be great, but they're who they are. They don't need fixed. They're not broken. You need to understand them better and understand yourself better, and then learn how to navigate people in a different way. Right? I want to help you with your trust issues. Please, if you want a deeper dive, let's go talk about it. Let's get together and let's see how we can get underneath the hood. What is your story? Number one, where'd you learn this from? Who taught you that example? We're going to unpack that story with you. Then we're going to look at what character you've been playing, withholding Wendy, testing Tessa, clingy Claire. How does this behavior, not just how, but who does this behavior show up as? And then we're going to look at rewriting your story together. We're going to look at untangling all that and really deprogramming your personality, the personality you put on, unpacking who you really are, and your divine nature, not your nurturing, your nature, and learn how to get in touch with your own inner voice. How do you learn to trust your own judgment? You actually figure out what it is that you value. And if you start with you, people say, how can you trust somebody? And people say, oh, well, you can trust somebody who is a person of their word. Okay, well, I can tell you I'm a jerk off and be true to my word, or I can tell you I'm leaving you and be true to my word, and so you don't trust me. You could say, oh, it's a person who, walks the talk or is authentic. I could authentically be an asshole and you don't trust me. What really makes you trust somebody is one thing and one thing only. It's that that person has your best interest at heart. How do I know this is an issue for you? Because sometimes you don't have your best interest at heart. So as soon as you learn how to put your own interest, and that's selfish. I can't put my own interest at heart. It's the only way you learn to trust yourself, and it's the only way you learn to trust other people. At some point, honey, if you're not going to put yourself first, who do you think will? Who do you think will? Because people are mirrors reflecting back to you your own value. And somebody else is not going to value you more than you value you. It's just not how it works. It's your mirror. It's always a match. Like attracts like. That's what that means. All right. So what I want you to do is start to consider loving yourself first, putting yourself first. When you do that, everything else flows forward from there. I can help you do that. Go over to HeidiRain.com and we can learn how to do more of that together. All right. Let me check in. Pretending Paula. Yes, we remember that from last time. Yes. He's not Spider-Man. No, he's jumping to scale your walls, girl. All right. I love you guys so much. I hope this has been helpful for you. Let me know what you want to talk about next week because I'll be here. All right. I love you. I'll see you soon in another video, or I'll see you in my inbox. Sounds kind of dirty, but you get the drift.